His Majesty took a fancy to the Princess of Liang and insisted on making her his consort. I knelt and pleaded for my life. As the ruler of all under heaven, how can your Majesty commit such an unspeakable act, usurping a subject's wife? How would the world ever view this? That very night, the Princess of Liang hanged herself. 13 years later, after the Empress Dowager passed away and your Majesty's throne was secure, the first act was to strip me of my Empress title and slaughter my entire family. Years ago, Shuai hanged herself. Today, I shall grant you 3 feet of white silk, the debt you owe her. When I opened my eyes again, the Empress Dowager and the ministers watched me expectantly. I prostrated myself. The Princess of Liang possessed exceptional virtue, and Prince Liang served His Majesty with loyalty. I beseech the Empress Dowager to grant His Majesty his wish. In the depths of winter, I was strangled to death in the Palace of Everlasting Joy. The Empress Dowager had not yet been buried. Yet Murongqing could not wait. As palace attendants pulled the silk cord tight, choking my breath, I spat at him. Why? Kill me. The whole realm knew the Empress was virtuous. Why kill me? My father and brother had guarded the borders of Dawn for decades, loyal to the core. When the late emperor suddenly passed away, leaving behind widows and orphans, it was my father who guided Murongqing's hand to ascend the throne. You ungrateful wretch. I glared at him with my last ounce of strength. Murongqing watched my struggle with a sinister gaze. Years ago, Shuai hanged herself. Today, I too grant you 3 feet of white silk. This is what you owe her. Shuai, Yu Qinshui, the Prince of Liang's lawful wife. I stared at Murongqing in utter disbelief. So all these years of his professed deep affection and devotion had been an act. He had never forgotten Yu Qinshui. He blamed neither the Empress Dowager nor his own cowardice, but only me for barring the Princess of Liang from the palace. He held me responsible for Yu Qiangshu's death. Therefore, he deposed me as Empress, slaughtered my father and brothers, exterminated my entire clan even though they had surrendered their military power long ago. Murongqing, you will face retribution. In his venomous gaze, I drew my final breath, dying with eyes wide open. When I opened them again, the palace lamps were extinguished. A maid asked, "Your Highness, are you going to see His Majesty?" The suffocation around my neck felt like an illusion, only the heavy weight of the Empress' ceremonial robes pressed down upon me. As dawn broke, the palace servants knew I was going to stop the Emperor. Bewitched by that demoness, I had been reborn. Returning to the age of 17, victory had been won at the frontier, and the Xie family's 7 heroes basked in unparalleled glory. That year, the Xie family was in full bloom, their fortunes at their zenith. Since entering the palace at 7, I had stood by Murongqing for 10 years. For a decade, I guarded his side, his pillar of strength, his steadfast support. Yet in this very year, Murongqing became madly infatuated with Yu Qiangshui, principal consort of his uncle, the Prince of Liang. Bad news, Your Majesty. The Emperor is arguing fiercely with the ministers. A palace attendant rushed in with the report. The elders of the censorate are kneeling outside the hall, demanding to plead their case at the risk of their lives. When censors plead their case at the risk of their lives, emperors find it hard to write history. During the Lantern Festival, Murongqing caught a glimpse of Yu Qinshui, and she captured his heart. Murongqing held no regard for the Prince of Liang, a sickly man who wouldn't live long. And neither did the ministers. But this matter defied all moral order. Murongqing was certain that Xie Lingxian, devoted to him, would never act out of jealousy. Your Majesty, the palace attendants seemed unable to wait, urgently adding, "The Empress Dowager, worried about His Majesty, has already rushed over." I laughed coldly, silently. The Empress Dowager was waiting for me, the Empress, to make a move. Alas, this time she was bound to be disappointed. Graceful and dignified, I walked slowly through the palace walls, passing the censorate. Officials knelt stiffly upright in the cold wind. Seeing my procession, they all stepped aside. Since marrying Murongqing, I had been devoted to him alone. Back then, I naively believed our love was mutual. Every morsel Murongqing ate, I tasted first. Every sip of tea he drank, I sipped first. I gave him the personal guards my father had entrusted to me, to protect his life. I even shielded him from an arrow, nearly losing my own life. Murongqing held me tenderly, swearing his devotion. My profound devotion to you shall never waver in this lifetime. With the emperor and empress in harmony, the realm enjoyed peace. Yet today, Murongqing defies the entire court for a married woman. As I entered the grand hall, the clamor ceased instantly. Yu Qinshua lived up to her name, a beauty of jade-like skin and bone, cold as snow, radiant as crystal. Spotting me, Murongqing instinctively stepped forward, shielding Yu Qinshua. His expression was agitated as he demanded, "Empress, have you come to stop me too?" Yu Qinshua lowered her eyes and silently knelt, tears streaming down her face in a heartrending display. Once more, Yu Qinshua knelt before me, not even the tears rolling down her cheeks having changed. In my past life, I could not bear such seductive affectations. I immediately ordered palace attendants to slap her hard across the face. As empress, I cared not how many women Murongqing had. No matter his harem's size, I remained empress. Yet Yu Qinshua, as the rightful wife of Prince Liang, dared disregard the dignity of both his majesty and her husband. She followed the emperor to stage the spectacle of boundless devotion before the court ministers. It sickened me, as the eldest daughter of the Xie clan, virtuous and proper. How could I tolerate such a demonic woman? Your Majesty, as ruler of all under heaven, how could you commit such an unspeakable act, usurping a subject's wife? How would the realm view the imperial house? Prince Liang bears the Murong surname, sharing the same lineage as your Majesty. He is your imperial uncle. How could your Majesty humiliate him thus? The Princess of Liang, though wed, knows no bounds. She has driven his Majesty and the court into conflict. Such a vixen, how could she ever enter the palace? I knelt directly, my forehead striking the floor. I beg your Majesty, release the Princess of Liang from the palace. If you refuse, I shall dash my head against the palace floor and die. But Murongqing was utterly resolute. He blurted out, "The Empress is unvirtuous and jealous," speaking recklessly. Before he could finish, thud, my head split open, blood gushing. That single blow resolved the conflict between Murongqing and the court officials, but it also earned me his bitter resentment for over a decade. Seeing my silence, Yu Qiangshu's eyes flickered. She suddenly threw herself to the floor, banging her head repeatedly. Watching her, my heart felt strangely calm. The imperial clan and ministers present today all hoped the Xia woman, backed by powerful allies, would step forward and resolve matters for them. But nothing in this world comes that easily. The maid Qingnu whispered a warning beside me. "Your Highness." I ignored her. The Empress Dowager sent me here, and I came. Nothing more. This time, she wouldn't slip away unseen, nor would she push me forward to be the scapegoat. Schwerer. Murongqing embraced Yu Qinshua tenderly, his expression turning grim as he met my gaze. True to the saying that practice makes perfect, within mere moments, Yu Qinshua was weeping so profusely she seemed on the verge of fainting. Her tear-filled eyes met Murongqing's, exchanging 1,000 unspoken words. A tender and heartrending exchange. What a pair of star-crossed lovers. I couldn't help but think with keen interest. If I didn't step forward this time, how would Murongqing handle the world's murmuring tongues? How could Yu Qinshua still pin her death squarely on me? The Empress. Exactly. In my previous life, her suicide by hanging was a lie. Her feigned fragility was a lie. Even her chance encounter with Murongqing during the Lantern Festival was meticulously orchestrated by her. The Prince of Liang was a powerless royal relative. Frail and ill, could pass away at any moment. How could Yu Qinshua ever accept becoming a widow? but with Xiashi already in the imperial palace, she dared not challenge her. She could only settle for the next best thing. Her original plan was to fake her death and escape into the palace. My public act of throwing myself against the pillar in the grand hall played right into her hands. From that day on, Murongqing hated me with a passion. Yu Qinshui abandoned all dignity, becoming her own stand-in, manipulating Murongqing like a puppet. Every few days, she'd remind him how Xia Longhuan had driven Yu Qinshui to her death. This reduced me, the Empress, to a mere ornament unable to bear a single heir for over a decade. What a grand chess game. After learning the truth, I once tested Murongqing. Your Majesty, does it not strike you as odd that consort Shui bears such a striking resemblance to Yu Qinshui? You mean to say Shui is not dead? But right beside me, Xia Langxian, you're mad. Do you think this will make me forgive you? Staring at Murongqing's distorted face, I suddenly understood. He likely knew the truth all along. He merely needed a reason to hate the Xia clan. Now, standing in the grand hall, I remained motionless. Murongqing clenched his jaw and roared, "Empress, what exactly do you want?" The room fell deathly silent. Yu Qiangshu's form trembled slightly, tears glistening in her eyes. She looked up at me as if pleading, yet also as if telling everyone that if I agreed, this farce could be resolved perfectly. If I, the Empress, gave my nod, the entire realm would understand their love. I offered a faint smile, then walked slowly to the Empress Dowager. I curtsied, ignoring the two men's presence entirely. Murongqing abruptly stood and blocked my path. Xiashi, even if you beg the Empress Dowager, it will be futile. My decision is final. His reckless disregard, seen through the eyes of the court officials, made him look like a ruler utterly bewitched by a demoness. In my previous life, I risked my life to restore his image as a wise ruler, only to reap bitter consequences and bring ruin upon my entire clan. This time, I sidestepped him, refusing to acknowledge him at all. Without a word, he pulled Yu Qinshui tightly into his embrace, as if terrified she might be harmed. I tell you this, even if everyone opposes it, I will marry Shui today. If you still want my favor, keep your mouth shut and behave yourself as Empress. I complied, lowering my head in feigned sorrow, my true expression hidden. That fool Murongqing, can't he see the Empress Dowager is nearly driven to her death by his arrogance? Yet he still spouts such audacious nonsense. He's long forgotten how our Xia clan secured his throne. After a long moment, I lifted my head to appraise the self-important Murongqing. I was blind. The Xia clan was blind. We foolishly believed his reign brought blessings to dawn. Your Majesty rules over all subjects. Nothing should trouble you. With that, I lifted my skirt and knelt before the Empress Dowager. What are you doing? Murongqing frowned. I've granted you the Xia clan's Empress title. Are you still not satisfied? I bowed my head, prostrating myself on the floor, and spoke with reverence. Mother, the princess consort of Liang is gentle, virtuous, and obedient. Prince Liang serves His Majesty with loyalty. I implore your Majesty to grant His Majesty's wish and allow Yu Qinshui to enter the palace. The moment the words left my mouth, the hall fell deathly silent. There are no secrets within the palace walls. The Empress' shocking words spread throughout the capital before night's end. The mighty vessel that had bound His Majesty and Lady Xia for 10 years seemed poised to break apart. Back then, when the late emperor suddenly passed away, the Empress Dowager ascended as the new empress. Not only was she young, but her status was also low. As crown prince, Murongqing's position was precarious. Ahead stood the illustrious second prince with his military achievements, and behind him, the third prince with his powerful maternal clan. Either could have ascended the throne. By all accounts, it seemed unlikely to fall to Murongqing. It was the Empress Dowager who acted decisively, seeking an urgent audience with my father, the Marquis of Xia. In the dead of night, she pleaded tearfully, appealing to his compassion for a widow and her orphan son. begging him to save their lives. My father had always disdained the first prince's tyranny, and the third prince was overly influenced by his maternal clan. Seeing this, Murongqing couldn't help but be tempted. Alas! His ambitions were as treacherous as a wolf's. As a noble lady raised in the highest traditions, I now spoke words that would allow Murongqing to seize a subject's wife. Murongqing froze in shock. The Empress Dowager immediately struck Yu Qinxue across the face, accusing her outright of bewitching the ruler with her cunning charms. After court adjourned, father's beard bristled with fury as he berated me. As the legitimate daughter of the Xie family, how could you utter such words? The emperor is blinded by deceit, and you're as thick-headed as a pig. He insisted on taking her in. What choice did I have? I couldn't very well throw myself to death in the throne hall. The empress is the model for all women in the realm. Words like yours will be recorded in the imperial annals, and our Xie family will be reviled for generations. Father beat his chest in frustration. For a noble house, reputation is paramount. No wonder he was furious. But he forgot. Our emperor fears no eternal infamy. I knew my actions would draw condemnation from all under heaven. Yet since entering the Eastern Palace, I've never faltered. Sacrificing everything for Murongqing, the Xie clan weathered every storm to ensure a smooth succession for the Great Han dynasty, securing Murongqing's throne. But what has Murongqing done in return? No sooner had the Xie faction purged the court than the Empress Dowager was buried. Then, under the pretext of cleansing the court of corrupt ministers, he rushed to settle scores with the Xie clan. What difference did it make how well I served as empress? As long as I bore the Xie surname, my fate was sealed, destined to be deposed, destined to follow my entire clan into the underworld. If that was his choice, let him rage. It was no longer my concern. I dismissed the attendants and prepared to lie down. Outside the bedchamber, Your Majesty, the Empress has retired. Qing Nu desperately tried to block Murongqing, who stormed in, raging. Murongqing pushed past her, his body radiating fury. Empress. I rose and dismissed Qing Nu. Why are you here instead of attending to the Princess of Liang? Murongqing kicked over the table before him. Qinxue has already said she doesn't care about formalities. Can you not tolerate her? Now you've locked her away. I ask you, where is Qinxue? My first thought was, could you Qinxue be faking her death again? Then I realized I hadn't stopped her from entering the palace this time. She had no reason to fake her death. So I calmly explained, it wasn't me. Murongqing cut me off. Who else in the palace could pull this off right under my nose besides you? The Empress. My eyelid twitched. So Murongqing feared me this much. Your Majesty said it yourself. Who else could act under your watch besides me? The Empress. A single lamp flickered like a bean, its wick crackling and popping. Murongqing snapped back to his senses and rushed out. Qing Nu voiced her concern. Your Majesty, the Emperor is so enraged. I fear he hates. I signaled Qing Nu to be cautious with her words. Deep down, I knew that no matter how I avoided conflict, even going so far as to bring the Princess of Liang into the palace, Murongqing still believed I was putting on a show. He guards against my Xie family while exploiting us. Think he can have it both ways. Dream on. I pondered silently. The first prince is already crippled. The third prince has passed away. After all calculations, only the Prince of Liang remains. He is the emperor's legitimate son. Had he not been frail, the late emperor wouldn't have seized the opportunity. Yet the robust late emperor departed first, while the perpetually ailing Prince Liang survives, and Murongqing still addresses him as imperial uncle. In my past life, Prince Liang was alive and well when I died. Qing Nu. Deliver this letter to Prince Liang. The man possessed clear, piercing eyes and a straight, upright posture. Were it not for his pallor, few would suspect him of being ill. The Prince of Liang's astonishment at seeing through me flashed in his luminous eyes. Your Highness is surprised. Your royal uncle's extraordinary presence does indeed astonish me. Ha! Not nearly as captivating as your Highness' grace in the throne hall. I sipped my tea. Your royal uncle still finds time to tease me, clearly not the least bit concerned about the Princess of Liang. The Prince of Liang mimicked my gesture, sipping his tea. Your Majesty possesses such magnanimity. What is there for me to worry about? If anyone should be concerned, it is His Majesty. With that, he gave me a mischievous wink. I understood immediately. Uncle is indeed utterly loyal to the Emperor, even willing to sacrifice the one beside him. She sought virtue and found it. As one destined for a short life, why should I obstruct her path to the clouds? I watched his feigned helplessness. Had I not known his past life, I might have been fooled. Yu Qiangshu's petty schemes were beneath Prince Liang's notice. Perhaps even that fleeting glimpse during the Lantern Festival was orchestrated by him. Prince Liang, Murong-yi, was the late emperor's youngest brother, the royal uncle of Murong-qing. He was born when the late emperor was already crown prince. The empress gave birth to him in her 40s, and palace rumors claimed his frail constitution posed no threat to the throne. After the late emperor ascended, Murong-yi gradually faded from public view, secluding himself from court affairs. Were it not for Yu Qinxue, the court might not even recall his existence. I knew full well that Murong-yi was not the detached and competent the rumors portrayed him to be. Murong-qing was impulsive and quick to anger, having made several critical missteps in major decisions. Had Murong-yi not intervened to assist him, the stability of his throne would have been far from assured. I lowered my head and smiled faintly. My meaning clear. Does your Imperial Highness truly intend to watch the Murong dynasty crumble under the rule of a fool like Murong-qing? What does your Majesty imply? Murong-yi's gaze pierced like lightning, fixed directly upon me. Does your Imperial Highness not understand? I intend to change this very heavens. A flicker of astonishment crossed Murong-yi's pallid face, followed by a faint, almost imperceptible smile. I knew exactly what he was thinking. As Empress consort, I dared to plot the overthrow of the reigning emperor. Any sane person would deem me mad. Yet I was determined to take this gamble. The fate of the Xie family, my own destiny. They must not be as wretched as in my past life. Only with Murong-qing dead could I live. Murong-yi suddenly spoke. If you wish my aid, I have but one request. I nodded. Speak freely. Uncle, you. Murong-yi's gaze burned. I want only you. Back in the palace. I hastily changed my robes, scrubbing away every trace. You can't judge a book by its cover. Murong-yi certainly didn't look like a sick man. A faint smile touched my lips, as gentle as a spring breeze. Unlike me, Murong-qing was in a complete mess. Yu Qinxue was detained in the palace by the Empress Dowager, leaving him as frantic as an ant on a hot skillet. Without me to shield him, the Empress Dowager had no choice but to intervene personally. Murong-qing made several attempts to retrieve her, only to be turned away each time. Rumor had it he somehow learned of Yu Qiangshu's illness and immediately knelt before the Empress Dowager's palace gates, refusing to rise. Mother and son were locked in a standoff. In the past, I would have rushed to mediate for the sake of palace harmony. But now, basking in solitary splendor, I couldn't care less about their fate. Murong-yi did not disappoint. Had managed to infiltrate the Empress Dowager's palace, with Yu Qinxue ill and the Empress Dowager unable to explain. Murong-qing would surely harbor resentment toward her. Mother and son were locked in a battle of wills. Rumors swirled throughout the capital that I, the Empress, was blinded by passion, willing to endure the world's scorn for the Emperor's sake, spending my days locked in my chambers, weeping endlessly. Meanwhile, Murong-qing, enraged for his beloved, vowed to bring Yu Qinxue into the harem, daring even to defy the Empress Dowager. Within days, the city's tea-houses buzzed with excitement. This princess consort of Liang must be breathtakingly beautiful. A few men chuckled lewdly. Indeed, how else could she have bewitched His Majesty? The rest was left unsaid, understood by all. Humph. The Emperor is the Son of Heaven. He merely desires a woman. Even the Empress makes no objection. Keep your reckless talk to yourselves. I reckon His Majesty will soon have his beauty in his arms. Can any mother in this world truly overrule her son? The Xie family wields immense power. All these years, His Majesty hasn't even had a proper beauty. All these years, the Empress has monopolized His Majesty. Not even a female mosquito has entered the harem. How dare she complain? His Majesty has no heir. Empress Xie is the guilty party. Chu, are you out of your mind? Someone warned. The tide of rumors shifted abruptly. Why should His Majesty heed the Xie clan? Does the empire bear the Xie name or the Morong name? Once this argument surfaced, the Xie family shut their doors to visitors. Almost simultaneously, Yu Qinshui in the Empress Dowager's palace broke through the palace attendants' blockade and flew into Murong Qing's embrace. Murong Qing, seeing his beloved, wept with emotion. Yu Qinshui seized the moment to plead. Qinshui doesn't want to be the lofty princess of Liang. I only wish to stay by His Majesty's side as a servant or maid. It said the palace attendants present were deeply moved by their profound affection. Prince Liang truly has a brilliant mind. He directed all blame toward our Xie family while belittling himself. Murong Qing instantly became a tragic emperor wronged for years. 3 birds with 1 stone. It fulfilled Murong Qing's ambitions, accomplished my own wishes, and created a rift in the alliance between His Majesty and the Xie clan. Even the Empress Dowager wouldn't suspect Murong Yish to assume it was Murong Qing's own doing. I curled my lip. Murong Qing probably thinks heaven itself is aiding him. Unable to bear seeing this mortal emperor suffer such humiliation. Is your highness satisfied? Murong Yi laughed with unrestrained ease. Uncle Emperor is magnificent. Your sincerity, your highness, I have witnessed. But where lies mine? I lifted my gaze to meet the depths of his eyes and promised. Rest assured, Uncle Emperor has lost 1 wife. I shall return you another. My word is my bond. Murong Yi gently caressed my cheek, drawing closer. His breath, warm and heavy, spoke volumes. Your Majesty, please hurry. I can hardly wait. I watched Murong Yi depart, then quietly slipped into the darkness after adjusting my robes. Murong Qing, having achieved his goal of keeping Yu Qinshui in the palace, skipped court for 3 full days. Qing Nu scowled all day, berating the palace attendants for their lack of diligence. Everyone in Changle Palace lived in fear. The palace winds had shifted. All eyes were on me, the Empress, waiting for my downfall. I shut myself away, deliberately avoiding Yu Qinshui. But my downfall. They weren't worthy of witnessing it. Murong Qing took Yu Qinshui hunting in the upper forest garden. Yu Qinshui, dressed in her finest, nestled close to Murong Qing, surrounded by attendants, radiating splendor. The trembling grand censor of the censorate led a procession of officials, kneeling before Murong Qing in solemn array. This demoness brings ruin to the realm. This old servant would sacrifice his life to implore your Majesty. We beseech your Majesty to execute the princess consort of Liang. A surge of rage choked Murong Qing, pointing at the elders. He roared in defiance. Shuer is pure and innocent. She gave herself to me. How dare you call her a demonic consort? Yu Qinshui sobbed softly, her eyes brimming with hurt. The Empress Dowager seethed inwardly. Murong Qing, for the sake of 1 woman, had caused repeated disturbances, utterly disregarding the greater good. She feared he might provoke her father, causing the Xie clan to turn against them. But with matters having reached this point, what choice did she have but to agree? Murong Qing had already descended into madness. Murong Qing's eyes blazed crimson, overflowing with boundless ferocity. He felt compelled by the Xie clan, pressured by the Empress Dowager, and threatened by ministers plotting against him. Unable to contain himself, he roared, "Guards!" The golden feather guards' shouts shook the heavens. Every person present trembled in terror. When the son of heaven rages, 100,000 fall. When Murong Qing raged, the upper forest park ran crimson with blood. Not a single grand censor or imperial censor escaped. Kneeling in the Buddhist hall, I heard footsteps behind me and slowly opened my eyes. Is it done? The leader of the Golden Feather Guards nodded. Your Highness. Rest assured. Not a single one remains. His Majesty will never suspect. I waved him away. It took only a little incitement to make those from the sensory leap out like they'd been injected with adrenaline. Morongqing must surely believe that the Xia clan is also avoiding his sharp edge. He thinks his Golden Feather Guards are utterly loyal to him. Ha! What a joke! In my previous life, before I died, Morongqing once boasted before me. One line remains etched in my memory to this day. Had you not relied on the Xia clan, my Qinshue would not have died. She and I could have spent our lives together. This life, without me, without the Xia clan, I'll see how he spends his life with you, Qinshue. In my past life, Morongqing used the sensorate to fabricate dozens of charges against my Xia family, killing my parents, my elder brother, and exterminating all 3,000 members of my clan. Now, in merely collecting some interest, Morongqing's cruelty ran deep. The blood in the Imperial Park took 7 days to wash away. The people murmuring in streets and alleys suddenly felt their throats clamped shut. The name Yu Qinshue became a forbidden taboo. Within the side chamber, the aroma of tea filled the air. Morongyi wore a faint, ambiguous smile. Your Majesty truly commands respect. Are you not afraid Yu Qinshue might usurp your position? Curiosity suddenly pricked me. I heard Yu Qinshue entered the palace still untouched. How could your Royal Highness bear it? I told you I only want you. Morongyi remained his usual roguish self. My heart tightened. His gaunt appearance was entirely deceptive. I knew how powerful he was beneath his outer garments. A prince who avoids his own breathtakingly beautiful wife, feigning illness day after day, yet knows the inner workings of the court inside out. Who would believe he harbors no ulterior motives? Seeing my silence, Morongyi asked earnestly, "What? Regretting it?" I chuckled softly. "As long as you don't mind, uncle." Who would have thought reincarnation would bring such an encounter? It was better for Morongyi to feign illness. If his health truly failed, wouldn't my entire strategy be wasted? I deliberately played along. Morongyi cooperated perfectly. In an instant, my robes were torn to shreds across the floor, leaving only chaos behind. Time passed. Half a year had elapsed since Yu Qinshue entered the palace. Morongqing showered her with boundless affection, sending treasures from every corner of the realm to her hands. Meanwhile, my Chang'e palace lay deserted. Morongqing bestowed upon her the title of Snow Consort, elevating her status to that of a secondary empress. Unexpectedly, urgent dispatches arrived from the frontier. Barbarian tribes advanced northward, and Dawn lost 13 cities in succession. Morongqing's face turned ashen. Clutching the battle reports, he entered Chang'e Palace. Before he could sit down, a palace attendant by Yu Qiangshu's side rushed in with urgent news. Your Majesty, the Empress Consort is suffering from angina. Please come see her. Angina, not heartache. Knowing Morongqing came to me seeking the Xia family's troops, she couldn't bear it. In my past life, whenever Morongqing visited me, she invariably suffered angina. I remained impassive, letting Morongqing rush in and rush out. That night, I received a letter from Morongyi. You are forbidden to stay overnight. A flicker of amusement crossed my eyes. Rest assured. With the front lines strained, Morongqing discovered the treasury was empty after a thorough audit. In just half a year, he had indulged Yu Qinshue in extravagant construction and opulence. Her food expenses alone could have covered a year's worth of military supplies for the soldiers. Yu Qinshue adored snowfish from Dongting Lake in Jiangnan. They were transported daily from the south, 1,000 miles away, at immense cost in manpower and resources. Her garments were changed 3 times daily. The half-year expenditure was staggering. I interfered with nothing, granting Yu Qinshue complete autonomy to indulge her whims. Ignorant of the cause and lacking governance skills, Morongqing resorted to ruthlessly exploiting the people. The realm resounded with grievances. In my past life, Yu Qinshue was held in check by me, unable to indulge her every whim. Yet each time I restrained her, Qing would storm into the palace of everlasting joy to make a scene. Shuer merely wants a few more dresses. Does the Empress Dowager forbid even that? A few dresses, how lightly he spoke. A single garment for Yu Qinxue required over 100 weavers laboring day and night for 3 full months. This lifetime. They'll see if Qing can speak so lightly again. I had planned to delay a few more days, letting Qing witness Yu Qiangshu's extravagance firsthand. Unexpectedly, Yu Qinxue herself presented Qing with an early gift for the Empress Dowager's birthday banquet, with frequent battles raging at the front. Qing had no heart for grand celebrations. I had no intention of attending anyway, let alone forcing myself into the fray. Only Yu Qinxue, seemingly feeling her talents had nowhere to shine, insisted on pleading with Qing to let her oversee the Empress Dowager's birthday banquet. Qing, naturally granting every request of his true love, immediately issued a verbal decree. It is said that on the day of the banquet, Changxin Palace was lit as bright as day, with night pearls the size of eggs stacked like plates throughout the hall. Court attendants, dressed in their finest, bustled in and out of the halls, serving up an array of delicacies. Qing's expression darkened. Whispers rippled through the assembled ministers. But the treasury is empty, and the frontline troops are running low on provisions. The emperor couldn't even spare provisions for them. How can this be? Rumor has it these are tribute offerings from the south, specifically meant to honor the imperial consort. Look at all this splendor. How many lives could this have saved on the front lines? The ministers were heartbroken. Hush, watch your words, a colleague warned. I watched the Empress Dowager force a smile, inwardly scoffing. Only when the fire burns them do they panic. With so many people in the hall, it was inevitable that a foolhardy soul would step forward to offer advice. Your Majesty, this servant cannot bear to witness such extravagance. Where does it leave the lives of our soldiers on the front lines? Yu Qinxue, accustomed to absolute favor, never expected anyone to openly disrupt the birthday banquet. He immediately roared, "Insolent slave! How dare you slander the Empress Dowager? Drag him away and execute him by beating." The loyal minister, refusing to be restrained, hurled himself against the pillar that reached to the heavens. With a thunderous crash, his skull shattered, and he died instantly. Yu Qinxue shrieked and hid behind Qing. I lowered my eyes to conceal my scorn. My father had always taught me, as a noble woman, especially the legitimate daughter of the Xie clan, I must never bring ruin upon the nation. An emperor must care for all his subjects. As the ruler of a nation, did Qing not understand this? Or perhaps he believed that now he was grown and his throne secure, he no longer needed to show restraint. When the previous emperor died suddenly, my mother and I were filled with terror and fear, surrounded by constant assassination attempts. It was my father who sent me, not yet of age, into the palace to serve at his side, so the world would see the unbreakable bond between the Xie clan and Qing. Only then did the turmoil subside. Precisely because of this, Qing always felt he was one step behind me, holding both reverence and fear for the Xie family. But over the years, as his power grew, the Xie clan became a thorn in his side. Yu Qinxue appeared precisely as Qing's influence grew. Qing believed indulging Yu Qinxue was the same as indulging himself, but he hadn't anticipated the Hu invasions, the depleted treasury, or the boiling resentment across the land. Now, blood spilled at the Qinxue banquet, tearing away the veil of reality. His face visibly twisted into horror as he struck Yu Qinxue hard across the face. One slap could never quell the storm. That very night, Qing entered the palace of everlasting joy, carefully courting my favor. Does Liang Yang still hold a grudge against the emperor? I curved my lips, lifting tear-filled eyes. I thought your majesty would never set foot in the palace of everlasting joy again. Qing exhaled in relief, hastily adding, I hear the one who collided with the pillar was a disciple of your father. Would Langxian be willing to intercede on my behalf? When things go smoothly, it's Yu Qinxue. When trouble arises, it's Xia Langxian. Murong Qing, you truly never come empty-handed, utterly revolting. I sneered inwardly, but now was not the time for confrontation. Just as I pondered how to refuse, Yu Qiangshu's palace maid burst in, followed by Qing Nu struggling behind her. Your Majesty, the imperial consort has suffered a heart attack and fainted. The same old trick, always so effective. True love, indeed. Murong Qing slapped Yu Qianxue. His conscience pricked, and upon hearing the news, hurriedly departed. I watched Qing Nu, her cheeks puffed out in anger, and found it amusing. There, why so upset, Your Highness? That bitch must have done it on purpose. The women of the harem vying for favorite always came down to the same few tricks. Now that I had no need for Murong Qing whatsoever, I couldn't even be bothered to get angry. Little did I know how Yu Qianxue had coaxed and charmed him last night. By morning, Murong Qing attended court without soothing the families of the ministers who had bowed to the pillory yesterday. Instead, he exiled them all to the frontier. When the ministers' families were led away in chains, the common folk along the route murmured in disapproval. Many spat curses at Yu Qianxue in the streets, calling her a demon concubine. Upon receiving the news, the Empress Dowager fell backward in fury, ordering Yu Qianxue confined to her quarters for reflection. Yet within a mere quarter hour, Murong Qing stormed into the harem, whisking away a Yu Qianxue weeping herself near unconsciousness. He vowed that anyone who harmed her would face his wrath. The Empress Dowager trembled with rage until she collapsed, her breath failing her. Yu Qianxue instantly became a forbidden taboo within the palace walls, one no one dared offend. I sent word home early on, instructing my relatives to lie low and avoid rash actions. Though I attended to the Empress Dowager daily, I never once encountered Yu Qianxue. It seemed she held the Empress Dowager in utter contempt. Several of my brothers heeded my advice and requested transfers to distant posts, far from the capital. Whispers spread throughout the court and beyond. The Xie family, once credited with helping the dragon ascend, now seemed to have thrown their efforts away, allowing the Yu family to reap the benefits. Yu Qianxue grew even more arrogant, lavishly securing official positions and noble titles for her uncles and brothers. The Yu family rose to become the most influential clan in the empire. For 3 years, I allied with Murong Yi, watching him gradually erode Murong Qing's power. Simultaneously, the front lines had been mired in a halting, 3-year struggle. Casualties were heavy, and the people's trust had been utterly lost. The Empress Dowager's health was failing, and her relationship with Murong Qing had reached a point of irreconcilable hostility. Unlike in my previous life, there was no longer a visible target like me to mediate between them. Now, her form gaunt and emaciated, clinging to her last breath, she grasped my hand, her voice mournful. Empress, I have wronged you. I lowered my gaze. In my previous life, she hadn't been particularly kind to me, nor especially cruel. We simply stood on opposing sides. She needed me. The Empress born of the Xie family, returning to the Palace of Everlasting Joy. I received a letter from Murong Yi. In clear ink, it read, "The time has come." Burn after reading. The next morning, before the mist had lifted, the clatter of a galloping horse shattered the quiet of the corridor. Urgent military report. 300 li outside the capital, a vast crowd of displaced people has gathered. The common folk have rebelled, perched atop the high walls. I watched the dark mass of people surging toward us, surprisingly calm, rushing to the Golden Throne Hall with my men. I saw Murong Qing kick aside a kneeling general. The rebels are at the gates. Why did you not report this? Your Majesty. We sent 23 military reports, but they were all blocked outside the Weiyang Palace. Truly. The general wept bitterly. Weiyang Palace was Yu Qiangshu's residence. Murong Qing fell silent. Even now, with enemies at the city gates, Yu Qianxue likely remained resting within Weiyang Palace, because she suffered from angina. The palace enforced strict silence, no loud voices were permitted. Messengers were forcibly intercepted by her guards before even reaching the palace gates. How could military intelligence possibly reach Murongqing? Your Majesty, please mobilize the troops to suppress the rebels. The old general urgently requested permission. Murongqing paced frantically. The whole realm knew only the Xie clan possessed military prowess. To prevent the Xie family from seizing power, Murongqing had even denied them armor during the barbarian invasions. Now, the capital was under siege. Murongqing had only his golden feather guards. The nearest imperial troops were a full day's march away. Even if they arrived, the rebels would have breached the palace walls long before. Yu Qianxue rushed in, breathless. Your Majesty, we must flee. Those lowly rebels are about to storm in. Murongqing's face lit up. My beloved, you said your elder brother is a valiant warrior. Quickly summon him to repel the rebels. Yu Qianxue's expression froze, and she fell silent. I nearly laughed out loud. Lowering my head, what skills did the Yu family possess besides feasting and revelry, relying on Yu Qianxue's external clamor? They weren't fit for warfare, let alone defeating landlords. Yu Qianxue turned and saw me, her eyes brightening. Your Majesty, the Empress family must have capable generals. Why not request the Empress to send someone? Murongqing nodded at first, then hesitated. I knew that even with the fire at his doorstep, Murongqing still refused to use my Xie family, fearing we might rise from the ashes. Sure enough, Yu Qianxue was disappointed. Murongqing sent her brother, Yu Zhong, to meet the enemy. The waiting was agonizing. Outside the palace walls, the clamor of battle shook the heavens. Each time a messenger arrived, it brought news of more casualties or another palace gate breached. Murongqing's eyes burned crimson like a raging lion, his restlessness palpable. Yu Qianxue had shed her usual haughty arrogance, her face pale and body trembling uncontrollably. Your Majesty, we must leave at once. The palace is no longer safe. I rose, gathered all the palace eunuchs in one place, and sealed the gates shut. The golden feather guards had already surrounded me, ready for battle. Your Majesty, Your Majesty, a young eunuch scrambled over, nearly falling. General Yu fled. He abandoned us and ran away. Murongqing erupted in fury. What? Who fled? Where did he go? General Yu encountered the riders just outside the palace walls. Terrified, he retreated. He ordered the palace gates open to distract them, then fled in the chaos. Now the rebels have stormed in. Murongqing's face turned ashen. With a gurgle, he coughed up a mouthful of blood. Moments later, the air was thick with the clamor of slaughter. Charge in. The Emperor is inside. Kill the Emperor. Kill the demon concubine. Shrieks echoed everywhere. Court attendants scrambled in panic. Yu Qianxue screamed, clinging desperately to Murongqing's back. As the ragged mob surged forward, the Emperor's regal bearing shattered instantly. I drew my long sword, slashing a rider who lunged through the chaos. Seeing this, Murongqing hurried toward me. Langxian, save me. Yu Qianxue clung desperately to Murongqing, terrified of being abandoned. Yet he strained to reach my side. Only now did he see the golden feather guards forming a solid shield around me. Yu Qianxue dodged a rider with a bare chest and stomach, screaming as she scrambled backward. Murongqing grabbed a young eunuch and thrust him in front of himself. A blade plunged into his abdomen, blood staining his face crimson. The young eunuch died a gruesome death. Amidst the overwhelming mob, the lavishly dressed Murongqing was a prime target. Everyone sought to kill him. His companions dwindled rapidly. Each pushed forward to shield him from swords and blades. Ah! 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 The shrill screams were terrifying. Murongqing's eyes widened in fury as he whipped his head around. He saw Yu Qianxue's hair flying wildly, her clothes torn and disheveled, no trace of her usual graceful beauty. He gritted his teeth in rage. It's you, you harlot. If not for you, how could I have fallen into this wretched state? Thud, the blood-stained blade plunged into Yu Qiangshu's body. She tried to turn and look at the man who had pushed her forward as a shield at the critical moment. But it was too late. Her gaze slowly shifted toward me, her lips barely moving. "You're next." Murongqing's love, the one had obsessed over and sacrificed everything for, was nothing more than this. But Yu Qianxue was right. I was next. Just then, someone bellowed, "Reinforcements are here." In the distance, I saw Murongyi charging toward me in full armor. A smile curved my lips. With reinforcements arriving, the rebels were swiftly subdued. Murongqing sat on the ground, too shaken to stand. Murongyi, clad in armor, bowed low, yet his bearing was like a soaring eagle, fierce and commanding. Murongqing's face turned ashen. With Yu Qianxue dead, the palace attendants turned their gaze to me. I ordered her body recovered, granting her the dignity befitting an imperial consort. Yet Murongqing, in some uncontrollable frenzy, had Yu Qiangshu's body exhumed during her burial. He ordered her corpse flogged 300 times. Still unsatisfied, he decreed the execution of every member of the Yu family, leaving not a single survivor. The imperial edict was proclaimed throughout the land. Yu Qianxue, a demonic consort who brought ruin to the nation, deserved death. Thus, all the people's resentment fell upon the Yu family. After their deaths, the Yu family members were discarded in mass graves, left to be devoured by wild dogs. A sharp pang of pain pierced my heart. The Xie clan of my past life was now the Yu family. Perhaps having learned from past mistakes, Murongqing grew steadily more composed after these acts. The Empress Dowager, driven mad by the rioters, was now at death's door. In her final moments, she clasped Murongqing's hand and ordered him to recall the Xie family's army to the capital. Murongqing agreed without hesitation. I knew that Murongyi's sudden emergence had reignited their sense of crisis. From then on, Murongyi held immense power, no longer merely the transparent Prince of Liang. Throughout the court, ministers increasingly looked to the Prince of Liang for guidance. He had effectively become the regent. This was why Murongqing agreed to let the Xie family return to the capital. Everyone assumed the Xie family's return would inevitably align them with Murongqing. Murongqing thought so, too. After all, I, the Empress, bore the Xie surname. No matter what, blood was thicker than water. Murongqing made a point of visiting the Changel Palace daily, putting on a show, but both he and I were still in mourning for the Empress Dowager's passing and could not share a bed. He had no idea that every time he left, Murongyi would cling to me. "Now that the thorn in your side is gone, Your Majesty, are you going to abandon this prince?" Murongyi looked utterly drained, as if had been overworked. I shot him a sidelong glance. With all the power Uncle now holds, shouldn't he be the one worried about losing me? Nonsense. You know I only want you. I smiled. A man's words were meant to be heard, not taken seriously. Upon the Xie family's return, Murongqing was overjoyed and hosted a grand banquet for his ministers. But I knew he merely wished to demonstrate to his officials that the Xie family remained loyal to him. That evening, Murongqing took my hand, smiling broadly. "To have Lang Yang in this life is heaven's blessing. May the heavens protect us, that we may grow old together." I wonder if Yu Qianxue heard those words. Would she crawl out of her grave to spit in his face? I smiled and patted his hand, feigning deep emotion. But my eyes darted toward Prince Liang, who sat buried in his wine. He seemed utterly disinterested in my plight. Father and all my brothers were present. At the banquet, everyone shared an unspoken understanding, regardless of past grievances. Smiles graced every face. Court attendants steadily brought in imperial wine. Gazing at the imperial wine before me, the corners of my mouth lifted. "Your Majesty, today is a splendid day. Allow me to offer you a toast. Good, good, good. Wine from Langyiang, this emperor shall drink it." Murongqing downed the cup before him in one gulp. I then lifted my own cup, using the wide sleeve of my robe to cover my face as I tilted my head back and drank. Seeing me drink so heartily seemed to please Murongqing immensely. He even stepped down from his throne and faced Prince Liang directly. Your Royal Highness, you have served the throne with great merit. This emperor offers you a toast. My hand tightened, my heart leaping to my throat. But I heard Murongyi decline. I dare not. Your Majesty's wine is beyond my station to drink. Murongqing's face darkened instantly. Uncle, what do you mean by this? Murongyi immediately replied. Why not exchange cups with me, Your Majesty? Murongqing retorted. Uncle, you doubt my word. Very well. Then I shall drink from your cup. With that, he snatched the wine from Murongyi's hand and downed it in one gulp. How about that? Murongyi, unfazed by honor or insult, took the cup Murongqing handed him and drank it dry. Ha ha ha. Uncle is truly straightforward. Murongqing's laughter grew louder, his delight evident. Father and my brothers, seasoned by countless battles, had long seen the deep animosity between the two. Just then, Murongqing suddenly smashed the cup in his hand to the ground. A squadron of soldiers, each wielding sharp swords, immediately flooded into the imperial garden. Those within the garden rose in panic. Some shouted to protect the emperor. Others retreated. Only Murongqing remained expressionless, his eyes cold as ice. Men, arrest every last one of these traitorous rebels. Yes, Your Highness. The soldiers saluted. The same scene played out once more. Only this time, instead of the rebels leading the charge, it was Murongqing issuing the orders. Soldiers surrounded my father and brothers, slashing like tigers at anyone in sight. Showing no mercy, the imperial family's hidden elite forces had finally revealed themselves. I've been waiting for them. Come out now. I sprang to my feet, sidestepping the blade aimed at my former self. More footsteps echoed from all directions. Murongqing turned, his face ashen. You were prepared. I sneered coldly. Murongqing knew the Golden Feather Guards were loyal to Mei He couldn't command them. Desperate, had hastily summoned the secret guards secretly left behind by the late emperor. But their numbers were too few. Otherwise, the rebels wouldn't have reached Murongqing himself. Murongqing's plan had seemed flawless. First lure my Xia clan and Murongyi into the palace, then poison the wine, and finally deploy the secret guards. What I hadn't anticipated was his utter madness that had calculated every minister and imperial relative attending the banquet into his scheme. Now the tables have turned, and Murongqing has suffered a complete and utter defeat. Your Majesty. A loyal eunuch caught Murongqing as he collapsed to the ground. I stepped forward, embracing Murongqing with unusual tenderness. My voice was soft. Did you think taking the antidote would save you from the poison? Murongqing's lips were blackened, his eyes dark and fierce as he cursed. You poisonous bitch. I didn't even glance at him. Instead, I called out, Uncle Emperor. His Majesty has been poisoned. It must be the work of the assassin before us. Guards, seize the assassin at once. Within moments, Murongqing's men lay slain. Dead silence fell over the imperial garden. Murongyi knelt beside me, gently clasping my hand with a look of triumph. Your Majesty, the traitor has been executed. Murongqing clutched his chest, as if waking from a nightmare. His gaze darted between Murongyi and me, filled with a hatred that seemed capable of tearing me apart. The farce concluded with Murongqing's poisoning. He was utterly crippled, his mouth twisted. Speech impossible. He might as well have been dead. The court descended into utter chaos. 3 days later, I was diagnosed with pregnancy. Murongyi led the court in kneeling to petition me to assume the emperor's duties. I accepted with composure. Thus began my reign. I dispatched my father and brothers to repel the barbarian invaders while reducing taxes and appointing virtuous ministers. Wit. Murongyi's support internally and the Xia clan's influence externally. The court soon stabilized. 9 months later, I gave birth to a son. Cradling the infant, I sat by Murongqing's bedside, watching his body waste away. I whispered softly into his ear beneath his murderous gaze. You guessed correctly. The child is Murong-Yi's. I watched Murong-Qing draw his final breath, just as he had watched mine in his previous life. I had assumed that after Murong-Qing's paralysis, Murong-Yi would vie for power with me. Yet since I took the reins, he has done nothing but aid me, showing utter disdain for authority. On the day of my delivery, I nearly lost half my life. Qing Nu told me Murong-Yi had stood guard outside the hall, not moving a step. My alliance with him was largely me using him, and I did owe him a debt. Yet he treated me far better than Murong-Qing ever had. And I found myself somewhat moved. I held my father's words close that love is terrifying and dared not give my heart again. Even as the most powerful woman in Dawn, I still could not act as I pleased. Day by day, the child grew, bearing an ever greater resemblance to Murong-Yi. Court officials saw it clearly but said nothing. When the child turned 7, I invited Murong-Yi into the palace. Seated across from each other, Murong-Yi's gaze upon me remained fiery. I offered him the imperial wine. He looked at the flask but said nothing. How could he not understand the palace's ways? Yet he did not expose me, only smiled and drank. I held him as the poison took hold, tears streaming down my face. Don't cry. I'm sorry. It's ugly. Murong-Yi coughed up blood, yet still found the strength to comfort me. Let me protect you one last time. I wept uncontrollably. I'm sorry. I broke my promise. The end. Extra Chapter 01. My name is Murong-Yi, the youngest son of the emperor's legitimate consort, and the least powerful prince in the Dawn dynasty. My mother's health failed during childbirth, and she passed away shortly after I was born. I was frail from birth. Fearing the palace attendants might neglect me, my father, the emperor, took me to live with him and raised me personally. At that time, my second elder brother was already crown prince, the son of consort Liang, many years my senior. Whenever father held me on his lap while reviewing memorials, my second brother's expression darkened. When father praised me, my second brother would secretly make trouble for me. The old nannies by my side said father was growing old and could no longer protect me, urging me not to offend the crown prince. Hearing this, I gradually learned to hide my talents and blend into mediocrity. Sure enough, the crown prince stopped watching me, but such days did not last long. Father passed away, and the crown prince became his majesty. I became an invisible person, overlooked by all. Perhaps it was simply His Majesty's wish for me to be invisible. The palace attendants by my side grew fewer and fewer, often going hungry. I could only sneak out to find food. Today marks the day my imperial nephew, Murong-Qing, is crowned crown prince. The palace buzzes with celebration. Servants pass by, carrying delicacies I've never tasted, their trays laden with feasts beyond my reach. My mouth waters greedily, my feet involuntarily trailing after them. I must stop them. I must declare I am the Prince of Liang. If they refuse to hand over the food, I will punish them severely. I silently steeled myself. Halt! Leave your offerings with this prince. I scowled. Who are you? I am Prince Liang. Leave your offerings, and you may go. Scoffs and snickers erupted around me, making my face flush crimson. What kind of prince crawls out of some backwater to claim such a title? Let's go. Ignore him. A powerless prince is worth less than us lowly servants. Don't go. I scowled. Ravenously hungry. Get lost. My frail body was kicked down, tumbling down the slope into the bushes. Starved and weak, I shivered uncontrollably. I was surely going to die. Death might be a mercy. I could finally see father and mother again. Yet I refused to accept it. I was a direct descendant of the noble imperial bloodline of Dawn. How could I die here, forgotten and unnoticed? I screamed with all my might, but only a faint, cat-like whimper escaped my lips. Despair filled my heart. Later, I was rescued, and in my dazed state, I caught only a glimpse of a crimson gown. Had I been more lucid then, I might have recognized my savior and none of what followed would have transpired. I always believed it was you Qinshue who saved me, for she alone wore red at the banquet, even after her marriage, when she donned white gowns daily. I dismissed it as her maturing tastes, until the Lantern Festival, when my imperial nephew met Qinshue. He became almost mad, defying the opposition of his ministers to bring her into the palace. I, a powerless prince, effectively under house arrest, Qinshue saved my life once more. Bidding me farewell with tears to protect me, she saved me, a man barely clinging to existence. After all, the sudden death of a frail prince would have been the most natural thing in the world. After Yu Qiangshu's death, my hatred for Xie Longhuan burned fiercely. Knowing Murong Qing intended to destroy the Xie clan, I secretly acted under their name, committing acts of tyranny. True to form, Murong Qing seized the opportunity without investigation, slaughtering the entire Xie family. Later, when Xie Longhuan died, I believed I had avenged Qinshue, until I brought my personal nurse out of the palace. She murmured, "The Empress was a good soul, but fate was cruel. Remember, it was she who saved you. That Princess Liang, she was a demon consort. A demon consort." Those words plunged me into hell. Her words pierced my chest like knives. How could Qinshue be a demon concubine? Finally, my chance arrived. The snow concubine stood beneath the plum tree, resplendent in fiery red fox fur. I approached, unable to believe it was truly her. "Qinshue?" I tentatively asked. The figure beneath the tree turned, her face brimming with impatient arrogance. "It's you." Her tone was contemptuous and indifferent, tinged with a hint of dismissiveness. Suddenly, I was overcome with emotion. "You're Qinshue. My Qinshue. Right. You're still alive." I stepped forward and grabbed her. "Why did you lie to me? Murong Yi. Let go of me." The snow consort brushed me aside with a flick of her sleeve. "This is the inner palace. How did you get in? Answer me." I was boiling over, my head about to explode. "Yes, I lied to you. So what? What makes you Qinshue better than Xie Lingxian? Why should she wear red while I can't? Why must she be empress while I marry some sickly prince? If the Yu family hadn't fallen into ruin, would I have married you? If you want a quiet life, don't drag me into it. I want wealth and glory. I want to marry the most powerful man in the land. I want to trample Xie Lingxian underfoot. Step by step." Her fingers jabbed into my shoulder again and again, each word lashing like a whip. "So you faked your death. You toyed with everyone. What do you take me for?" Yu Qinshue tore off all pretense, her smile dripping with contempt. "You're nothing but an insignificant pawn to me. Nothing at all." After that, I spent my days praying to gods and Buddhas, begging for redemption. Everyone called me mad. Spending my days with monks, none knew the agony of regret in my heart. Later, I truly returned back to the past. This time, I only wanted to save Longhuan. I would use every ounce of my wisdom, exhaust every means to rescue her. I began slowly gathering strength, winning over court officials. The day Ling Yuan came to me, heaven knows how overjoyed I was. I agreed to collaborate with her, strategizing tirelessly, exhausting every effort. I never imagined she would later conceive my child and decide without hesitation to give birth. On the day of Ling Yuan's delivery, I waited outside the palace hall, hearing her cries of pain. I was overcome with fear, terrified I might kill her again. Thankfully, after a night of struggle, she safely delivered Lear. I longed to shout to the world that Lear was my child, but I couldn't. I could only silently watch over them, keeping her from sorrow and shielding her from state affairs. Fortunately, heaven took pity, and Lang Yang finally gained everything she'd ever dreamed of. The Xie family was intact, and she was well. True to her brilliance, she pulled Dawn back from the brink of death. When rumors spread through the palace that Lear resembled me more and more, I knew my time for atonement had come. Time seemed to favor her. She remained the most dazzling jewel in the capital. The poisoned wine arrived. like the sins of my past life and the redemption of this one. I smiled as I drank it, letting the venom corrode my organs, thinking, to die in her arms is a kind of happiness. Her tears soaked my clothes. I wanted so badly to tell her, I'm sorry. Don't cry. The end.